Hello, everyone. It is Monday, October 26th, and I want to share with you an update on where we are at with our elementary program and where we are headed. So I am going to share my screen with you, and I presented most of this information to the ELD reps on Friday while your building principals were meeting with you. But I want to explain everything so that you can understand why we are bringing K-1 back and why we are looking at and investigating with our families this week a full return for our grades 2 through 5. So why would we look at a full return for our elementary at this point? Number one, and the most important, which is our core mission, is our instruction. And in-person instruction for our elementary students is key. And I want to share with you the number of days we've had in person with our students versus remote learning with our elementary students. And I also want to share with you the number of cases we've had in the district, specifically the elementary cases. I want to share with you the Mathematica research that was provided to us in the second report. It came out in the second week of September, specific to elementary students, and what other districts are doing and how they're having success with their elementary programs, either since the beginning of the year with their students back or recently having students come back. So let's start with the matrix that the Department of Health and the Department of Education provided us probably about 2 weeks before school started. They came out with a model for us to look at and say, if you're in this level of community transmission in the county, you should be using one of these recommended instructional models. Well, we had used the Mathematica report in July to do our health and safety plan, which was approved by the board, to give our families plenty of time to start planning for the hybrid model. This model that they came out with, this matrix, just confirmed the decision that we made as a district and how we started the school year. Our level of community transmission in Dauphin County started at 45 on September 11th, 45 per 100,000 people in the county. It slowly went down, 42 to 36, 2 weeks at 36. And then on October 8th, it jumped up to 68. October 16th, it was 81, and October 23rd, it was 73. At that point, on the October 16th, it was time to survey all our families to say, are you staying in e-learning? Are you coming back to the hybrid? And Doug and I talked with the elementary principals, and I said, our community transmission rate isn't getting down where we need to get it according to this matrix as far as a decision-making model, but we haven't had the cases at the elementary level, and our K-1 students need to be in here for face-to-face instruction. And so we put that out, and we put it out to our families, and we got some good initial survey data back on Sunday. We started looking at that today, Monday the 26th, and we'll continue to look at that and communicate that with you and move forward on K-1. But we're also going to start looking at grade levels 2 through 5, and here's why. Again, these are our community transmission rates, and this is a second matrix that the Department of Health and the Department of Education put out for districts to use, again, about 2 weeks before school started. And if you had one case and you were in a hybrid, low or moderate, you didn't need to close. If you were 2 to 4 cases in the moderate, you had 5 to 7 day closure. If you had 5 or more cases, you had 14 days to close. We have been working with the Department of Health and identifying and notifying close contacts, which have been very, very minimal, especially at the elementary, because we haven't had the cases. At the secondary level, the hybrid model has served us well. We have some students and staff who need to quarantine, but we have not had a large number of them because we've been very lucky in that secondary model where there's a lot of students moving from class to class and more students in the building, but we haven't had to close buildings. So this matrix, similar to this, has not held true for us. And this matrix, I am starting to question whether having in this moderate level of transmission, that this is a good model for our elementary, and here's why. Across the district, we've had 9 cases since August 27th to October 23rd. So we have had, most of our cases have been at the high school level, which is what the Mathematica report would say is going to happen. We've only had 3 cases at the elementary level. 3 different buildings, but only one of them was a student. So if you look at the number of closings that this matrix would have had us have based on the number of cases we have, which hasn't held true because the Department of Health has not said, Rob, you should close. We recommend you close. But we have actually closed and done remote learning for 20 days at our elementary level. And we've only had one case. And we've had 15 days of face-to-face instruction up until last Thursday. So our elementary students have missed a lot of school. And it isn't due to cases, it's due to being in the hybrid model in case we would have cases. So the Mathematica report, which I referenced in the beginning, says the key findings from the study, cumulative infection rates in elementary schools are likely to be consistently lower than in secondary schools employing the same operating strategies, even if they are similar in size, because younger children are less likely to be infected. Secondary schools are expected to have more infections than elementary schools, even at the same size, because older children have higher rates of infection than younger children. Younger children are only about half as likely to transmit the virus to others. In elementary schools, the average number of additional infections produced is substantially smaller due to lower susceptibility of young children. So what we're seeing in the Mathematica report in that regard is holding true. We aren't seeing the cases. We aren't seeing the spread at the elementary. Again, we've only had one, which is right in line with what the Mathematica report says, that between 25 and 100, right at the 50 level for community cases per 100, you should have one case, which is what we had. Because remember, we fluctuated between 36 at a low and up to 81. So that part has held true. And we don't anticipate having many cases at the elementary level with the students. So what is our plan moving forward? Analyze data from the parent surveys. Doug and I have started to do that. We've involved the building principals. We will work with the teachers as we transition KN1 back with social distancing. We're going to work with you on, all the elements that need to go into planning to get those KN1 kids back. We're looking to do that right before Thanksgiving break. We're going to provide for parents with information on bringing second grade back with social distancing if we can. We think we can, and I shared that on Friday, and your principal shared that with you. We are not sure we can until we get the data from families, but we're hoping to be able to do K1 and 2 with social distancing as much as possible. But we're also going to begin discussions with staff and families on bringing grades 3, 4, and 5 back. We're going to do a family video. I'm going to work on that tomorrow. And we're going to do another survey that will probably be concluded by the beginning of the week next week. So we've not surveyed our parents since July regarding a full return. Would you send your students back in a full return? But in July, 72% of the elementary parents said they would send their child or children back to a traditional model. So we can't guarantee social distancing in 3, 4, and 5. We're going to try in second grade. We feel we have a pretty good handle on KN1. But the questions I think most of you are going to say is, I can anticipate some of you asking are, why should we be looking at this now with the transmission rate increasing? The answer, other districts are doing it successfully. And we have not seen a high number of students who have tested positive. So, we're looking at what Central Dauphin is doing. We're looking at what Palmyra is doing, and they are able to get their kids back in. And again, we're looking at, we've done more remote days than in-person instruction days as of today. So with one case. So question, why not social distance in 3 through 5 instead of K through 2? Well, I think we all know that if we need to quarantine a classroom, I think it would make sense to have it be a 3 through 5, unfortunately, if you have to do it, because those students are going to be a little bit more independent and able to learn through online and Canvas than some of the literacy skills that we're trying to get K1 and 2, especially after missing a big chunk of the spring where we couldn't see them face to face, and now missing 20 instructional days at the beginning of this year. So I think it makes sense to do it that way. So would we still offer hybrid to parents who want it in grades at the elementary level? We'd need to see what the survey data says, but most likely not. I don't see how we'd be able to blend the two with all the different other components that go into running the school day at the elementary level. So again, I know I'm going to be coming out to a couple of the buildings. The principals said it might be a good idea for you to stop out. And so I'll be seeing some of you after school this week. And others, you know, you can always reach me via email or give me a phone call or talk to your building principals or talk to Doug. But I'd be happy to meet with you and explain, again, the rationale for what we're planning to do with KN1 and then what we're looking at doing with grades 2 through 5. So again, thank you for watching, and everybody take care.